Hey there, and welcome to Hot Seat. And we are here to explore the reasons of why. What's the why? What's the purpose? What drives business owners to do what they do? If it's what you're looking for, to get motivated, well, we look forward to sharing this episode with you. I'm your host, Kelvin Holliday, and I am enjoying the fact that we can explore people's why and motivate others. So stay tuned for this exciting new episode. 15 minutes, fast paced. Let's do it. Tell us a little bit. So you're a HR consultant. So what is it that got you into that? And I know you're passionate about it, all right? And some of the stuff you've been able to help us with has been awesome. So why did you actually get into HR consulting?
Yeah, so I like helping people, and I know that's a very cliched thing to say, but I really do love helping people. And I suppose the reason why choose HR, there's lots of other ways you can help people. I've witnessed people be bullied and harassed. I've witnessed people being treated badly in the workplace. And I've been brought up with a real sense of, fairness and justice. So I think, getting the opportunity to start my own business and be able to help businesses and influence them to treat their employees well has been probably one of the factors. But also I like to be able to help small business as well. So making sure that they're understanding what they have to do to treat their employees well, but also to make sure they're covering their risk. So I suppose number one, just making sure that employees are happy in the workplace, which is going to lead to happy businesses and profitable businesses.
Mate, yeah. So, and it's quite interesting. So when we get into this HR side of things, you say about this sense of justice and fairness. One of the things that's really coming up very, very prominent, particularly in this COVID situation, and it seems to be getting even more in the Australian employee area, is this difference between employment and permanent employment and casual. So we're getting a lot into the casual sort of side of things. So how are you finding that within that HR environment and some of maybe the challenges or what are your observations in that?
Yeah, I think casual employment and I suppose the downfalls from an employee side of things really came into focus with JobKeeper, because there were a lot of people that were casual employees that didn't qualify, but luckily long-term casuals did. So I'm not going to go too much into the detail of that, but I think a lot of the time engaging a casual in a business makes sense to a business. If they're not sure about how much work they've got for the person, or it might be seasonal, having a casual employee is the perfect way to go. But ideally, having a permanent person is going to give you more certainty in relation to, them coming to work every day and that type of thing. So there's pluses and minuses for both. And there's also some legislation that's been recently introduced in relation to long-term casuals being able to request a permanent position. It can get a little bit complicated, but yeah, it's got to suit the business.
Yeah, and look, I'm looking forward to exploring this and getting into some deep stuff in some future webinars and everything with you, and really getting into the nitty gritties. But I guess I just want to stay in that sense of, so business owners are out there, they're really thinking about, where are they going and what's right for the business. You said permanent and casual is, it's definitely a different area for them to consider as a strategy. But as far as employing people, and you're saying about retaining staff and stuff like that, so about paying them the right amount and their performance side of things, what's some of the things that help people and understand their reasoning behind staying in a job, and also about keeping those good people in performing well within your recruitment sort of area and that sense of fairness?
Yeah, look, I think there are so many things, but I think being a business owner is hard, and people don't get into business to worry about pay rates and whether somebody should be permanent or casual, or how many hours they can work, all of those sorts of things. So it can be really, really difficult for a business owner to know that they're doing the right thing. So not knowing where to go is a big thing. So things like pay rates, for instance, there are award minimum rates. And sometimes a business owner doesn't even know what award to look at. So being able to engage somebody like me, I can help a business navigate that sort of area in relation to making sure that they are paying people correctly. I find a lot of the time if somebody is being underpaid, it's usually not on purpose. It's usually just that the business owner doesn't know any better. I had a business owner tell me once that he was about to employ somebody, wanted me to do an employment contract for him. And he said, I've got the person, got everything sorted. I'm going to pay her $16 an hour. And I went, oh no, that's less than the minimum. And he'd just been talking to some friends that were in the same industry, and they told him that's what they pay their staff. So he thought he was doing the right thing, thought he'd got some good advice. So I think it really is a lot of the time business owners just don't know where to look for the right answers. And of course, sometimes there are some bad business owners that are trying to take advantage of people that don't know what they should be getting paid. But I really do think the majority of business owners are trying to do the right thing. It's just sometimes they don't know where to look for the answers.
And I think from a legislation point of view, so if you are doing the wrong thing, but intentionally trying to do the right thing, it really doesn't make an excuse for you, does it? You're still doing the wrong thing. The same rules and penalties apply, whether you're doing the right or wrong thing, whether it's intentional or not intentional. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. But Fair Work, if somebody was to make a complaint to the Fair Work Ombudsman, usually their number one priority will be to get the mistake fixed. So if it's a one-off thing, it's a small business, they've just, they've underpaid one or two employees because they really genuinely didn't know, Fair Work will normally work with them to try and get the problem rectified and the underpayment paid. So not to say you should do the wrong thing and think that you're going to get away with it and then, just fix it up later. But they tend to be quite reasonable. Of course, if it's widespread, a big scale, well, then they're going to come down a little bit harder. And every situation's different. So I certainly don't want to say Fair Work will be kind to you if you make a mistake, because you just don't know. So the number one thing is to make sure you're doing the right thing right from the beginning.
It's just like driving down the freeway. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're not speeding, you don't get in trouble.
Absolutely.
So just try and do the right thing. And I think that's where I think I've seen this across Australia. Like, there are rules in place to really to penalise or to correct the behaviours of those people wanting to do or intentionally doing things wrong. But if you're not intentionally doing things wrong, there's a way out. But I still think it's, having somebody on your side to be able to go to delve into all this HR sort of stuff, which can be quite complicated, particularly in this COVID space. Like, there's a lot of, am I going to have to vaccinate? All these rules that are coming up right now that are saying, hey, can I force my employees to vaccinate? Can I do this? What is my constraints? And so that can be a minefield for a person in business right now.
It is a huge minefield. I'm getting quite a few questions related to vaccination and what you can and can't do at the moment. And it's an untested area. It really is. The best advice I can give to people is to consult an employment lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, I'm an HR consultant. I can steer people, in the right direction, but so much of this is untested at the moment. So seek legal advice is really important. Fair Work aren't really even giving a lot of information. They're being quite general about what they're telling people as well. So it's really untested. It's going to be different state to state. Are there health orders? Are there not health orders? Is it a business decision? Are we being guided by some type of legislation? So yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah. So I think this leads into one of the key things that I believe very strongly in this, that every business owner who is out there listening to this, you're passionate about your business. All right. And so I'm passionate about helping people to gain time and freedom. Right. So if you're about gaining time and freedom, instead of actually bogging down in trying to work all this out, why not just actually release yourself from the stress and get a consultant? So tell me some of the benefits, all right, for you, like to allow a business owner to have some freedom to be able to get some benefits of being a HR consultant and getting one in.
Yeah, so there's a few benefits. I suppose the number one thing, you're going to save time and money. So if one time somebody said to me, I'm so glad I've just spent some money to get a 15-minute consultation with you. You've just saved me 4 hours of searching on the Fair Work website. So they're the sorts of savings that you can find, and it might not be money, but it could be time. So and sometimes it's not even knowing where to look. So that's a big thing for me. It's the time and money people can save. It's the stress. It's the peace of mind knowing that you're doing the right thing and not even having to second guess it. I have 15-minute and 30-minute consultations where people can just pay for a 15-minute call to get the answers they need straight away. So, to pay for that rather than have to think, am I doing the right thing? Where can I look for the answer? Who can I talk to? A lot of the time people think, oh, maybe I should talk to my accountant about that. Or, they're not even sure who to ask. So I think that the number one thing for me is the peace of mind knowing that the business is compliant and the time and money that somebody can save as a result of that.
Yeah. And that's really, I come back to it. Like, as a business owner, I'm about doing the business that I want to do, that I'm passionate about, and doing the stuff that spins my wheels, not to actually sit there and go through legislation to find
Absolutely.
out. And I want to make sure, I've got a number of people on this call now from my team, and I want to make sure I employ people well, and that the situation and their conditions are not just the minimum. I think if we, as a business owner, if we come up with what's the minimum, if we get into that mindset, well, we can't expect loyalty. We can't expect people to be always being on the minimum line. We just need to know where that line is, so that then we can actually make it an informed decision on where we want to go from there.
Yeah. And look, I think it really does depend on the business too. But, a lot of businesses that I work with, they wouldn't be able to employ somebody on the minimum award rate. They need to be looking at that higher level to make sure that they get somebody that's going to be a really great performer. And that's not to say that you can't get really good performers being paid award rates. But yeah, it's about making sure that you're getting those people and that you are rewarding them for their skills and experience, as well as the job they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a bit of a can of worms we could open up about performance reviews and stuff like that. But like when you're trying to do the right thing, but you've got an employee that's just not performing, all right, and so you keep on trying, you're trying. So in that performance review process, we've always heard, I just got to give them 3 warnings. And what's some of the tips you can give around people who are passionate at trying to help people, but still have got that person who's not performing? You eventually got to say, hey, it's time to go. All right. So What's some of the tips you might be able to offer to our listeners today?
Yeah, so I think one of the most important things to remember is, it's not this whole 3 strikes and you're out thing. It's just making sure that you've followed a fair process. So if somebody's done something very, very serious, you could go to a first and final warning, and then whatever they do next could be their last chance. I think number one for me, especially at the moment where people are working from home, they're struggling with homeschooling, being in lockdown, so many things. The first question to ask somebody is, are you okay? We had Are You Okay Day a week or so ago. Really, I think that should be every day. And I think that should be the first question you ask someone if they're not performing well. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Do you need some more training? Is there a problem? Sometimes you'll find that somebody's got a family problem that they're dealing with, or at the moment they might be homeschooling and they might be stressed out about that. So I think just having a chat with the person just to see if there are any problems that could be easily fixed. they might need a little bit more training. So sometimes it could be just something as simple as that, as finding out what the problem is and being able to work with them to fix it. And then sometimes you're just going to get the case where you know that somebody just really needs managing out. And I hate saying that, because that shouldn't be the number one reason you performance manage someone, because you spend a lot of time and money employing people, recruiting, training, all the rest of it. So the last resort should be moving them out of your business, but sometimes that will be the only result that you're going to get to. But yeah, I think just have a fair process. If you're not sure what to do, get some advice, and just make sure that people clearly understand what your expectations are. So even things like making sure you have a position description, some KPIs for people to meet, and so they understand they're really clear. One of the things I said to someone the other day is, if even before you employ people, and I think this comes from the book, The E-Myth, write a position description for yourself. Write down every single thing that you do in your business. And then as you start employing people, whether that's employing somebody within your business or whether that's outsourcing something, then you can start taking those things out of your own position description and putting them into the person that you're outsourcing to, or the person that you're about to employ. Makes it a lot easier for that person to know what their responsibilities are, and it clearly sets out what your expectations are. So position description is quite important, and having an employment contract to go with that position description is good business as well.
Mate, that's a couple of pieces of gold, bit of advice, and I'm really looking forward, Karen, to coming back. So when this goes live, folks, those listening to it here on Facebook, so you'll be able to drop a little link in there with some other little tips. All right, book a consultation. I can guarantee you it'll be minutes time in your life well spent, and it will save you a lot of headaches and a lot of stress. So, Karen, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to having you on some of our other shows a little bit later on to really start to dive deep into what it is to really get into that HR space and know that you're doing things very, very well. So thanks very much for coming along. And
thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us here at Hot Seat. It's been an amazing, amazing event. It is a place where you can actually enjoy and be inspired by the why of others, the drive of the purpose and the passion. Please like and share this podcast with as many people as you can to inspire them to make a difference in this world. Have an awesome day. Unleash.